long time for preserving ecology of Kerala. Many of us have heard about Silent Valley, but he spent all his life in preserving Silent Valley in its pristine beauty. And we are all beholden to him for that. He was able to do that because he was in the forest service. Forest service is a very tough service. To get selected in those days, one has to walk 15 miles in 1 hour. 4 hours. 15 miles. My God. We are struggling to walk from the LBC to the gate. We are looking for any helpful human being to give us a short lift. But he continued that even when I am entering the service. See, people when they qualify, what the first thing they do is to put up a billing. So, and they'll be looking like a huge man, but he remains slim and continues to slim. He is very active, and he was retired, and he was in Theosophy for a very long time. I think from 1980 or 82, and he was helped by his wife, Sister Jayasri, who followed him to Theosophy, and both of them are now settled in Alapi, and they look after that lodge. And I was fortunate enough to attend a retreat in Alapi, where it is very beautifully maintained. See, many lodges are, I'm sorry to say, in a sorry state of affairs, but Alapi Lodge is an exception. Those who go to Kerala make it a point to visit Alapi and see how it beautifully maintained, and they got this, they do the Parasamal Puja and everything in a proper way, and they got a beautiful ES room also. And Annapurni Lodge, that's the name of the lodge. It's a very beautiful thing. And his family's son is also interested in Theosophy. So Alapi Lodge is in safe hands. And I request him to give us his talk. Self-knowledge, which is a must for perfection. Brother Shivdas.
Thank you, sir, for the introduction. Dear brothers and sisters, my topic today is self-knowledge, must for perfection. I don't know whether it is a statement or a question. But anyhow, I am going to share with you what I learned from our teachings of the ancient wisdom. So before that, I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to stand before you and talk on this subject. What I learned from our teachings, first I will state what I have learned. That self-knowledge, which is related to, when it is related to the higher self, that is perfection. Self-realization is perfection. That is what I learned from our studies when it is related to the higher self. But self-knowledge, when it is related to the personality level, that is needed to tread the path. So we are going to give our attention to this second part. All of us know from our studies that manifestation is the result of polarity. Polar opposites always coexist, and there is perfect balance between them. Manifestation and dissolution coexist. Srishti and Pralaya coexist. They call it Nitya Sarga and Nitya Pralaya. Differentiation and integration coexist. Disharmony and harmony coexist. Consciousness and matter coexist. Hence, perfection and imperfection coexist. Awareness of this constant eternal motion between the one existence and the many, between this going forth and the return, is the highest state of self realization. So, there is this perfect balance between the two extremes. In this case, the imperfection is only an appearance. That imperfection, what we call imperfection, is only an appearance. That is why it is stated in the Upanishad, that is Purnamada Purnavidam. That is complete, this is complete. So there is no imperfection, but it appears as imperfection. The voice of the silence says, sweet is the rest between the wings of that which is not born nor dies, but is the Om throughout eternal ages. So that means there is, in that perfect balance, there is bliss. That is what is stated there. This state of blissful rest between the wings, where imperfection and perfection meets in perfect equilibrium, is self-realization. Self-realization is the awareness of the law of essential unity. In order to gain to that level of awareness, one has to deal with his present state of diversity in manifestation. So diverse manifestation is always a diverse appearance or diverse presentation. So we have to deal with this diversity in the beginning of our journey. So then we have to understand what is this diversity. We have to understand, we have to study the life, we have to move with life, we have to analyze life, and then only we will be able to know. Then again the voice of the silence says, bestride the bird of life if thou wouldest know. If you want to know life, then you have to travel with life. Jai Krishnamurti very clearly says that if you try to move away from life, if you try to escape from life, life will catch you and teach you. If you move away from life, life will catch you and teach you. Indirectly, he is actually stating the law of karma, but he will not say like that. He is stating the law of karma, because if you move away from life, life will catch you and teach you. So it is better to learn now itself. Our present state of diversity and how to progress amidst that diversity is what we learn from evolution of life. And there are 3 steps in this progress through life: by hearing and learning. The first step is by hearing and learning. The second step is by practicing and applying. And the third step is by living and teaching. So these are the 3 steps. We can call it the 3 halls, which is mentioned in the voice of the silence. Hearing and learning, that is the first hall. Practicing and applying, that is the second hall. Living and teaching is the third hall. So, of course, we can take it in that way. The Bhagavad Gita also says that there are 2 streams of evolution, 2 streams of manifestation. There are 2 streams of manifestation emanating from me: the foregoing to diversity and the return to unity. Thou Pudasargau Logesmin, Deva Asura Evaja. So, Thou Pudasargau, that means 2 streams of evolution. The contrary forces, it can be called contrary forces, but at the same time they are complementary also, because one cannot exist without the other. In the early stages of our progress, our knowledge is limited to the field of diversity, where we learn all sorts of exoteric subjects related to the early steps in the path, which can guide us from imperfection to perfection. When we say the exoteric and esoteric, they are not separate, they are not watertight compartments. They also coexist. Both are necessary, both are complementary. So we cannot say that we will study only esoteric subjects, we will not study or we will not analyze the exoteric subjects. It's not possible. That is not applied, that is not applicable to our progress. In the hole of ignorance, one has to toil hard to wash away the impurities of imperfection he has gathered through ages of struggle, through life after life, ages of struggle and consequent fall in weariness and defeat. So that defeat is always there, the falling is always there. But The dim light of truth urges his soul to rise and move forward. So there is a dim light of truth which is shining in every soul, and that is not restricted to human being alone. Actually, throughout manifestation, in all kingdoms of life, this dim light of truth is there. That is why, even though we try to move away from life, that light will not allow us to move away from life. It is also called a sort of divine discontent. That discontent is there because that light is entangled with the upadhis, with the vehicles. So it wants to move away from the upadhis, or it wants to move away from that imperfection. Because of that, we all feel, even though we don't know, even though our brain does not record it, we have that discontent. Discontent is in every one of us, in every creature, in every mineral that is there. That is why it tries to move forward. So that is the pressure which is taking the evolution forward. That is always there. That pressure is always there. That divine discontent is there in each one of us. It is the whole, again the voice of the silence says, it is the hall in which thou sawest the light. You see the light in which thou livest and shall die. Because even though you see the light in the first hall, you don't follow it, you ignore it. So that is what happens. This is the path of taking, the pravritti marga, where the man is totally at the mercy of his karma and moves on from shore to shore, life after life. The voice of the silence warns us. If thou wouldest to cross the first hall safely, if you want to cross the first hall safely, let not thy mind mistake the fire of lust burn therein for the sunlight of life. That's also a very important statement, because two symbols are used there, the fire of lust and the sunlight of life. Don't mistake it. The fire of lust shall not be mistaken for the sunlight of life. What is the importance of these two symbols used there? You know that fire is a life-taking mechanism in nature. Fire takes away life, but sunlight is a regenerating mechanism. Sunlight gives life. Sunlight is life-giving, but at the same time, fire is life-taking. So that is why these two symbols are used there. Should not mistake the fire of lust for the sunlight of life. That is a regenerating force. Sunlight is a regenerating force. Slowly and steadily, he learns from his experiences and moves to the next hall, which is the hall of learning. The name of the second hall, which the hall of learning, it is in it thy soul feel. This is a very dangerous hall. The second hall is more dangerous than the first hall. In it thy soul will find the blossoms of life, but under every flower a serpent coils. So that is a more dangerous hall, because under every flower, under every blossom a serpent coils. That means here, of course, we have been advised to use constantly our power of discrimination. In the first hall, that demand was not very significant. But in this hall, when you come to the hall the second, you have to use your power of discrimination. So that is a difficult task. We have to be always aware of our position in this hall. So that is why in this hall, the sadhaka is constantly demanded to choose. Using his power of discrimination, he is advised to choose. In the first hall, that aspect was not very much there, because it was nature which was pushing. But in the second hall, we are advised to use our power of discrimination. Often he errs and falls and suffers. From the depth of this acute suffering, he aspires to seek out a way of relief and happiness. Again, that same dim light of truth pushes him forward. Here also that dim light of truth, it pushes. So that is, the pressure is always there. The voice of the silence again says, again another warning, If thou wouldest to cross the second safely, if you want to cross the second hall safely, stop not the fragrance of its stupefying blossoms to inhale. There are a lot of blossoms, beautiful blossoms are there, but stop not there to inhale the fragrance of those blossoms, because the enchanting blossoms and the poisonous serpents coexist. They always coexist. We should be aware of that. The power of discrimination, that is viveka, and the positive indifference or unattachment, that is vairagya, help the pilgrim to move forward among the treacherous allies of this mystifying hall. And what is the guide, or what is the safety? A constant eye to the ideal of human progression and perfection is the sure guide to take the chela forward. So that is a sure guide. You should always keep this advice in our mind. That is a constant eye to the ideal of human progression and perfection is the sure guide of protection. Now there, self-reliance is his strength. Self-motivation is his driving force. And sacred service is his dharma along this path. Three aspects. Self-reliance is his strength. Why self-reliance? Because it is said by the masters that the chela has to travel alone. It is a lonely journey. Nobody is there to help you. Nobody is there to assist you. You have to travel alone. That is why it is said that self-reliance is his strength. Then self-motivation is his driving force. It is stated in the secret doctrine, it is clearly stated that there is a fundamental truth in manifestation also. What is that fundamental truth? The fundamental truth is that the universe unfolds from within. So that is the fundamental statement from the secret doctrine. The universe unfolds from within. That is what is happening in the macrocosm. Microcosm also expected to do the same thing, because we have to unfold from within, because that is what is happening in the universe. We also have to follow the same path, because we are part and parcel of the universe. So self-motivation, that is unfolding from within, that is the driving force. Then third one is sacred service is his dharma along this path. Again another fundamental law of manifestation. You all know that it is a fundamental law of manifestation is law of sacrifice. Law of sacrifice is the fundamental law of manifestation, because the whole manifestation happens from divine sacrifice. So we are also expected to follow the same path. So we cannot escape, we cannot move away from the same path, because it was the divine sacrifice which created this universe. Manifestation is the result of that divine sacrifice. So we have to follow that. So that is a fundamental law. So we have to follow all these fundamental laws if you want to move forward. There is a very clear statement in the Bhagavad Gita, this law of sacrifice, very clearly stated in one of the slokas. I am not going to say the whole sloka, but the last sentence of that sloka is Nityam Yajne Pradishtidam. You may all know that sloka. Nityam Yajne Pradishtidam. Sloka, full sloka. If you want me to tell the sloka, you know the sloka. Okay, so Nityam Yajne Pradishtidam. That means it is permanently established on Yajna. That is, the manifestation is Tasma Sarvagadam Brahma Nityam Yajne Pradishtidam. That means it is permanently established on sacrifice. Permanently established on sacrifice. So that we must understand, because that is permanently established on sacrifice. So we are also expected to do the same thing. Nityam Yajne Pradishtidam. Okay. Doubt and consequent indecision is his greatest enemy in this journey of self-knowledge, journey to self-knowledge. Doubt of what? Doubt of the goal, doubt about the path, and doubt about his own power to tread the path. These are the three important aspects of the doubt which may come when you travel on the path. That is doubt about the goal, doubt about the path, and doubt about our own capacity to tread the path. If you have no confidence in your own capacity to tread the path, then how can you progress along this path? That is why it is clearly stated again the Bhagavad Gita says that Samshayatma Vinashyati. Samshayatma Vinashyati. The doubter, the eternal doubter is doomed to fail. The eternal doubter is doomed to fail. There is no doubt. Try to travel on different directions will confuse the traveler, ultimately leading to disenchantment and delusion about the path itself. Standing face to face with one's inner self will give him courage and a sense of directions. That is the only way. There is no other way. The following are the qualifications given in Masters and the Path to be followed by the Chela. That is clearly mentioned in 7 steps are there. Perfect physical health, absolute mental and physical purity, unselfishness of purpose, universal charity, pity for all animate beings, truthfulness and unswerving faith in the law of karma, a courage undaunted in every emergency, an intuitional perception of one's being the vehicle of the divine spirit, calm indifference for, but a just appreciation of everything that constitutes the objective and transitory world. So these are the 7 steps. There are so many steps, but these are the 7 steps mentioned in at the Masters and the Path. Again, the voice of the silence warns. Another warning. If freed thou wouldst be from the karmic chains, seek not thy Guru in those regions. So we are advised not to seek our Guru in the second hall, because second hall is again earlier I told you it is a very dangerous hall, and don't seek your Guru in those regions, because there you cannot, because the whole process is deceptive, it is illusory. You should not seek your Guru there. But again it says that every delusion in this whole, if seen with the eyes of Viveka, by the disciple is a lesson to be learned and transcended before he moves forward. So the Guru is, we should not seek our Guru in the hall, but our Guru is our own Viveka, our own power of discrimination. So we have to follow that Viveka alone. No Guru should be searched for in that hall. The only safe guide along these Mayavic regions is his inner purity and selflessness of motive. This inner purity means it's called Sattva Samshuddhi, and selflessness of motive means Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti. These two are mentioned again in the Bhagavad Gita. Sattva Samshuddhi, that is the inner purity, and selflessness of motive, that is Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti. So what should be the motive of the sadhaka there? So it is very clearly stated in the Mahatma letters. The Mahatma was quoting from some other poem. I shall quote those 2 lines. Since there is hope for man only in man, I would not let one cry whom I could save. That is those are the 2 lines of the poem which the Mahatma was quoting. Since there is hope for man only in man, I would not let one cry whom I could save. Always ask the question, what for perfection? If the answer has the dull colors of selfishness, work hard with the undaunted will of the diamond soul and the overflowing compassion of the pure heart. This overflowing compassion means, earlier we have told about the law of sacrifice. Law of sacrifice is the law of compassion. There is the 2 are one and the same. There is an Upanishad mantra which says, Na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyage naige amrutatvamanishu. Tyage naige. There is no other way except sacrifice. It is tyage naige amrutatvamanishu. That is, immortality is attained only through divine sacrifice. that is sacred service for lifting up those who are toiling and struggling in the thick darkness of ignorance. And the sacrifice is not always external, it is internal also, because we have to sacrifice all our impurities. We have to sacrifice impurities and weaknesses, we have to sacrifice. The wise ones tarry not in the pleasure grounds of senses. The wise ones heed not the sweet tongued voices of illusion. These are the sentences from the voice of the silence. You have to meditate on those sentences for any length of time. Those who move, shall I stop now? Those who move forward are welcomed into the third hall, the hall of wisdom, beyond which stretch the shoreless waters of Akshara, the indestructible fount of omniscience. That means before one reaches the hall of wisdom, he shall transcend the pleasure grounds of senses. Senses and the sweet-tongued voices of illusion. And he must succeed in mastering the 6 virtues as given at the feet of the master, that is Shama, Dhamma, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha and Samadhana. These qualifications will help the sadhaka on his arduous journey to keep away from all sorts of delusions produced by his own self-projections. Most of our ideas, most of our visions, etc., all those things are our own projections, and we are deluded by such projections. Master clearly wants, in one of his letters, he clearly wants about such delusory projections, our own self-projections. There is always a tendency to project oneself as mature and perfect before one actually attains to that level. That is, this Master very clearly says, there is always a tendency to project oneself as mature and perfect before one actually attains to that level. Hence the warning by the Master. What is the warning? Never be impatient. We become impatient when we ourselves feel that I am perfect. So why these teachings, more teachings are not coming to me? Why more teachings are not coming to me? Why Master is not coming directly in front of me and advise? These things are coming because we ourselves feel that we are mature and we are perfect. So that kind of illusory projections shall not be allowed to take part within us. Never be impatient. And SPB also clearly says, deserve first, then desire. First you deserve, then desire. Okay, sir. I will stop it now. My time is up. But anyhow, what I am going to say is that this is because this self-awareness or self-knowledge, again I state the first statement, if it is related to the egoic level, then that is perfection. But if it is related to the lower level, that is avaravidya, then that is necessary to tread the path. We cannot avoid that. Then why we should take all this trouble to tread the path with knowing this avaravidya? Because you have to perfect the part and then surrender it to the whole. First we have to perfect the part, that is the lower portion, and then we have to surrender it to the whole, because it is again this separation, this whole and part again is an illusion, and we call it Maya. Thank you.